Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Todd. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. We're welcome that you are here today. We're feeling really good.
Words come out mouth various ways, sometimes backwards.
We're thrilled to death that you're listening to the show. That's what my mouth was trying to say. For two reasons. One, because Tony and I are here. We're going to have some fun. And also, we've got a great guest online. Guest, who are you?
I am Mike Purcell of Monkey Riot Pedals.
Well, that's the show, everybody. And go look them up and get a pedal or whatever.
All right, we're out.
Yes, it's pretty surreal, actually. I've listened to this podcast for so long.
That's fun. Oh, good. Well, I always enjoy when somebody who's been listening comes on because then they're not just lost the entire time going, what's going to happen next?
well, I still might be lost, but
no, we're gonna have it. We're gonna have a great time because we've got some really fun noise machines in front of us from Monkey Riot. Just a little teaser. We've got the Tempest Fuzz and the Backseat Driver. So we're going to dig into that, find out what is behind all this. They do some pretty fun things. Go check out Monkey Riot Pedals while you're at it.
Yeah.
Or while you're listening. Pull it up on the Instagram.
Where would you find that?
On Instagram?
Yes.
Yes, Instagram, Monkey Riot Pedals. I got the website, monkeyriotpedals.com, but Instagram is the place to go. I'm really stay updated with the content there.
Good.
And I have to give you kudos for using a Fender Bronco on some of your demos.
Man, I love that guitar. I picked it up for $110 at a pawn shop.
Oh, wow.
It was like 1993 or something like that.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
That's unreal. You know, and that is one of Leo's last Fender tremolo systems.
Really?
But it's actually was the last one he designed for Fender, and then he shifted over to G&L after that. But that one is kind of a unique blend between a Mustang vibrato and a Jaguar vibrato, or a Jazzmaster vibrato.
I've never had the bar for it or anything. I guess it's just locked down, but maybe that's something I should investigate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually one of I've played a couple of Broncos from that era, and they are actually they work really well.
Wow.
I mean, certainly better than a Strat vibrato.
He finally got it right and then walked away.
Well, I think, CBS said, we're done with you. Go off and find Yeah.
So anyways,
that's how it goes sometimes.
Well, yes. But anyway, so back to the good stuff, ladies and gentlemen.
We're digging in deep.
We're doing it. Anyways, we're gonna have some fun, and we just have a couple of announcements real quick. We, as mentioned before in the previous podcast, and ones even before that, we've got some more pedals to give away. Yes. We got these commissioned from Sketchy Sounds.
Sketchy Sounds.
Yes, who was a guest a little while back. I believe. Let me determine the episode. The episode, Tony, my episode meister.
Oh, do I need to do that, or I thought you said you were doing that?
Do you want me to look it up?
Yeah,
somebody,
do something.
Somebody
Earn
should do
Mike.
Something.
361 is Sketchy Sounds. A delightful chap. And it was super fun working with him on this here.
And it's
pedal.
got a black switch.
It's got a black switch. It's got all black hardware. It's orange. It's got a massive dial. One big knob, and our dial logo behind it. It's really, really cool.
Isn't that
sounds great?
Maybe the Mike Love pedal? One big knob.
Okay, good one, Tony. All right. All right. So we're giving that away, and actually, that is going to Mr. James Bell.
James Bell.
James Bell.
Isn't James from the United Kingdom?
James is from the United Kingdom. We're Great Britain. See, this is where people over there are going to be like groaning because they're like, oh my gosh, you morons. Those are different things.
Well, what country is he in?
Yes. That one. Anyways,
Well, it could be Scotland.
it's GB.
It could be Northern
It's
Ireland.
Great Britain.
It could be.
I don't have his address on me.
Well, come on.
Anyways,
can you get
so
with
that's
the program?
going across the seas for Mr. James Bell.
Could be Wales.
Great supporter of our show, and hope you dig it, man. And thank you to Sketchy Sounds for collaborating and doing that with us. That was really cool. It
is very cool.
Yeah. So, and we've got I think one more of those to give away. So 2 in total. And then we got some more stuff. So, yeah. And by the way, if you're a builder and you want to get your stuff into, people's hands who really, truly appreciate it, hit us up and we can help make that connection, make it happen. Do some giveaway stuff. Yes. What's going on in our music world this week? Starting off with Tanya Bolonsky to tell us about all the guitar stuff.
So I got a very cool text from our good friend Jared Brandon, who is now with Gibson.
Yes.
And he heads up the pickup division there down in Nashville. You guys are neighbors. Well, not really neighbors, but you probably drive past each other.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. And this is very cool. I'm so excited for him because he is worked with Sweetwater, who is the major musical retailer, on a special...
Who?
Sweetwater.
I'm sorry, who?
You've probably heard it. You've probably seen something. Probably got an email. The guys that put candy in with your order. Come on.
Okay, the candy, I get it.
You got the candy. And he worked with Sweetwater to develop a special set of PAF-style Gibson-branded humbuckers that they're calling the Sugar Bucker.
A sugar bucket.
A Sugar Bucker.
Yeah.
And I think these were kind of designed. But anyhow, I think these are really kind of designed to compete with other boutique PAF style pickups. And pickup
Are they
sets.
designed to I don't feel like they're designed to compete. I got to be honest. I feel like they're designed to say, we're going to set the bar again. Or you all have a ladder that only goes to this shelf, but we have a taller ladder that goes to this shelf.
Well, and Jared would have a taller ladder.
Jared would have a taller ladder, and because these are tippity top shelf pickups.
I would call them, the price on the Sweetwater website is $389 for the set.
Yeah.
And it's not chump change.
It's not chump change, and it's not the most expensive set out there.
No,
But
we've
it's
talked about others that
it's
are
up on the shelf that you don't usually ask the bartender for.
Unless it's your last day on Earth.
Yeah.
I'll take that top shelf. But anyhow, if you go to the Sweetwater site and type in Sugar Bucker, there's actually a really cool narrative in there that describes how the project came about.
Right.
There's some quotes from Jared, and they name him he's like the pickup genius of
Yeah, he's like getting
the Great Midwest.
The stuff.
So kudos to Jared.
Yeah, we're really happy about that. Really proud of him.
And I think we're going to try to have him on in the next couple of episodes.
I certainly
and
hope
I think
so.
he wants to talk about this a little bit too.
He better.
So, but yes.
And in true Jared fashion, it was weird as he was kind of telling me, he's like, I got this thing out there. He's like, I'm not really trying to say too much about it. It's just about right. He downplayed the whole thing. I know he's got to be happy about it.
Oh yeah. I know he is.
But he doesn't like the spotlight actually, which is weird because it's impossible not to hit him with any kind of light.
So here's let me just read you a little quote.
Okay.
This is my favorite quote.
Yeah.
It says, "It's a testament to Jared's genius that from the initial prototype, we knew we had something extraordinary on our hands. In fact, prototype isn't quite the right word. Jared's first crack at the design so thrilled us that we didn't have to change a single thing."
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Is there a quote from him that I can read in his voice?
Well,
Yeah. No, I won't do him like that.
But no, I think
That's great.
It's super cool. These, they look really good. It's engineered by Gibson Pickup Maestro Jared Brandon.
Yes,
he's a pickup maestro.
Pickup maestro. That sounds.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll be able to have him. If his head will fit back in this room.
I know. Big
But-
things.
Isn't he already a big guy?
He's
He is
6'8". He's like 340.
Yeah, I mean
he's like 340. 6'8". He's a big. He's a big
I
guy.
mean, he could be on the football field, no problem.
Yeah, if you put some googly eyes on a refrigerator, you're about halfway there.
Oh man, he's gonna come back and kick your
He's
butt.
actually bigger than a refrigerator. He's wider
think?
and taller than a big. Yes.
I don't know if he's wider than a refrigerator.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh.
Jared, if you're listening, I need you to stand in front of your refrigerator and take a picture.
I'm telling you. Yeah, we'd get the picture and say, "Where's the refrigerator?" Anyways,
So yeah, that's what I've got.
get yourself some sugar buckers.
If you've got
sugar buckers.
If you got a few shackles to spare, go and or shekels, or is it shackles?
Shekels.
Shekels. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. And buy 2 pair
Yeah.
because you can,
Yeah, exactly. Do that, then
and
give
it'll
them
make
to a
Jared.
friend.
It'll make Jared very happy.
Yeah. Okay, Mike, how about yourself? Anything going on in your musical world right now?
Yeah, it's been busy. I have shot a live video this past Saturday. I kind of do some live video recording at the studio, and I hadn't done one in a while, and they're just a ton of work, but it was pretty cool. And I thought they were a band from Ohio, but I think they're actually from LA, or some of the band members were from Ohio. They were called Drives Me Crazy, but I don't know. I just get hired to do them, and I do them. So
Did they drive you crazy?
No, man, they were actually really, really awesome. They had a really wonderful, charismatic singer that made the job really easy. They sounded great. They showed up. They were well rehearsed, and it was a pleasure to record them.
Oh, that's cool. And,
Yeah.
And they just came into Nashville from via LA, and
Well, they're releasing a record on a friend of mine's label, and he wanted to do one of these videos to help promote that project, and hit me up to do it. And
now what is the nature of the, how shall we say, modern video? I mean, growing up when I grew up with the original MTV, and it was a whole mishmash. Some of them were pretty cool. Most of them were just bands standing in front of the camera and goofing off.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what it is now. The thing that I do is I just bring the bands in the studio, and they'll just perform live. We'll do 5 or 6 takes, and then we'll actually pick one of the recordings from that actual session to use. And so it'll actually be a live recording with a live video.
Okay.
So nothing, I mean, I wouldn't want to do those fancy videos with drone shots and all those kinds of things.
Oh, come on. How about a boat? Could you at least have a boat like
maybe a
Rio?
yacht.
Yeah. Duran, man. Now you're talking.
Yeah, I could go for that. But I just I kind of like the DIY thing and keeping it simple and real. Treating the videos like a documentary of a moment in time.
Yeah, and that's that whole. I think the whole distribution side of that has really changed, because I know most bands, if they do have videos, they'll just either release them on their website, or they might have a YouTube channel or something like that. Not like everybody would make a video and send it over to MTV or other sources and pray that they got some airplay with it. So,
yeah, I don't even know if there's any sort of channel like that now,
Yeah, I mean, there might be some local stuff or regional, but I don't think there's any national stuff anymore.
Well, like the community access TV that would be on at 10 or 11 at night on Sunday.
Wayne's World.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, that was a cool thing. And then the really cool thing, I went out to Jack's Guitar Archaeology, which is Jack owns a music store that's about 30 miles outside of Nashville in Lebanon, and he supports a lot of the local builders. He has some local luthiers that have guitars in there, and he started carrying my pedals. So I took a bunch out there and hung out with him, and he's a good guy, man. He's kind of a punk rock DIY kid, and man, he's got a great store, a lot of eclectic vintage stuff. You know, it's not like walking into Guitar Center and seeing the same things you see in every other guitar store. But yeah, just great stuff, and supports the local scene. And I was stoked to get my pedals over there. So it's
That's
nice to
cool.
have them, you know, where somebody can walk in and play them.
That's
And
really
what was
cool.
the last? Yeah, man, it's a big step up, and he's got a decent following, and I picked up a few new people, which is, I guess, what it's all about on Instagram, right?
Yeah, kind of, unfortunately, but yes.
Yep. So I got some free content out of that, and that was nice because I didn't have to make another post. Yeah. And I think the last thing I did is I was doing a collaboration with a local builder, helping him design some PCBs. And they showed up yesterday and they actually worked right off the bat, which is amazing. So no revisions on them, and they're done. It's just like a clean blend though. Nothing too interesting or exciting, but definitely a cool utility thing.
Nice. Not bad. There's a lot of stuff going on. Let's see. Well, Tony.
Todd, how about you?
Asked,
I'm so sorry. I was off on another plane.
Yes, dreaming. Well, so I haven't been super active with the guitar still because actually the stitches are done. I'm fully unband-aided now. And so he said,
Let me
okay,
see. Let's see.
You can go ahead and play again now.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's going to heal up nicely.
Do you have to do like any kind of
No, he said
physical therapy?
just play, just start playing. So I was like, okay. So I got that done yesterday. But before that, through my work, I had to do a soundtrack for a video we were working on, and in this particular one, it's a bit of we're addressing kind of an insidious problem in society right now, and I wanted to get a little twisty with it, and so I got together with my friend Mark DeCenzo, who is quite literally a musical savant. I think he's able to play like 12 different instruments.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, he's a music engineer, and he's like just insane. And I went over, and it's fun when you can get a relationship with somebody that you're working with, whether it's for fun or for work, and you can talk in references and wave your hands about and make grunting noises, and then something amazing comes out. It's so cool. I love it. I love the process. And Mark is a local genius. I went in with, I think I played 2 seconds maybe of a track to set it up, and it was Radiohead from the Amnesiac album. I might be wrong.
You might be wrong.
Well, that's what the song's called. And it's quite literally just the very first sound you hear. It's this like metallic like bend. It's like I can't even do it with my mouth. But we started working on that, and he got a guitar going, and then we just kept pushing and twisting and pushing and twisting it, and it ended up just perfect. And it was just cool. I like it's fun to play, and it's fun to actually, be one with the instrument, but it's also really cool to sort of direct that kind of stuff as well. So big thank you to Mark Senzo, who does a crap ton of audio work for all the brands. So
We could call him Maestro.
Maestro. Yeah, he is a maestro for sure. And actually, he's the one who helped us set up the giant Frankenstein rig before Yeah, that one.
Wow.
Yeah. So before Rode came up with this, he basically came up with this.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
And this podcast would not exist if
no,
it weren't
it
for him.
absolutely wouldn't without his help. He helped us do the first the first communication thing. Anyways,
Nice.
blah, blah, blah. That's what I got. So that was fun.
Cool.
But now I'm back in the saddle, so I'll have more good guitar stories for next week.
I love it.
Yes. And you know what?
What?
When you can't play, that is your pedal board should be hiding
Where?
for its own good.
Where?
Anywhere that you're not going to get it, because I tore mine apart like 3 times.
Again?
Again. So there's Tour Gear Designs patch cables all over my floor.
Oh.
I have boxes for them.
I think I've heard of these patch cables.
Yes. Well, they come in awfully handy. And I have quite a bit of them because I can afford to do it because they're not redunculously priced.
Yes.
And I don't have to worry about them failing or being broken or anything because they're flipping practically indestructible.
I tried to
that
destroy
should be
them.
a T-shirt, by the way.
I tried to destroy them.
You did.
And it
I
didn't
watched
work.
You. Anyways, so you should do yourself a favor. Go to tourgeardesigns.com. Get yourself some patch cables in the cart.
Load it up.
Then say, wait, if I'm going to do this, I might as well do it right. Go get some more. And then as you're exiting, you're going to hit the coupon code and put in the guitar knobs, all one word. And Tony, how much are you going to save?
You're going to save an extra 15%.
Off an already stupid good price.
And you get them fast, and you will gain space on your pedal board.
You will.
I guarantee it.
Yep.
You can sue me if you don't think
Don't say that.
Oh, okay. Don't sue me.
Don't say that.
You can sue Todd.
Yeah. Don't sue me either. Anyways, thank you to Tour Gear Designs for sponsoring our Four on the Floor. Tony.
Let me get a little bit of this.
1, 2, 3. Four on the floor. Okay, Mike Purcell of Monkey
Yes.
Riot Pedals. What is your four on the floor?
All right. My first pedal is called The Season of the Witch, and it's from a Nashville guy named Hagtronics.
Yep.
And it's a chorus fuzz combo, and it's absolutely insane. You know, on pedals like that, like pairing a modulation and a fuzz circuit together so that they sound good I've never had any success doing it, and on this thing it's just crazy cool. You know, I thought of myself as not much of a chorus guy, but I tried this thing and it's just cool. You know, it'll kind of do those like slight modulation, warbly type things, but then you can crank it up and get weird, fast sci-fi effects out of it. And you can flip it's got an on-off for the fuzz or the chorus, so you can use them by themselves, but I think it sounds cool with both of them in all the time.
Now, is his stuff it's all kind of like big, super heavy, doomy, crazy, noisy stuff, yeah?
Yep, for the most part. I mean, he's got some, I think just about everything has some aspect of gain in it, but it's, you know, there's definitely a few where it's tempered a bit.
Yeah, looks like the Clag clone overdrive.
Yeah. Yep, that's actually, you know, it's got the K in it, so you can figure out which pedal it's emulating.
Yeah, and then there's the Rat Bastard.
Oh,
it's basically
man,
like a boosted rat.
Yeah, it's a range master in front of a rat, and that thing's really cool, too.
Oh, whoa. I like that. I like the idea of that. They got the Haywood. Hey, we need to get this guy on the show, man. I think I've actually sent a note to him before.
Yeah, you should have him on. He is out of the crew of people that we hang out with locally, he's probably the most prolific guy. He is just cranking them out and making really cool stuff, and he's a good human being on top of that.
That's good. That's good. Well, one thing we like is proclivity. Is that right? Is that the word?
That is.
I don't know what that means.
So, anyways, moving forward, what's okay? Wait. So season, you told us about that one, but did you just land on that because you hang out with him, or were you like, oh my gosh?
No, I went over there one day and he had these two new pedals sitting there, and one of them was the Season of the Witch, and the other one was the Range Bastard, and that was the first thing I tried, and it like took my head off. And I've told everybody about it since then. It was just one of those that really hit me.
Okay,
you know?
I get it. Hagtronics, we're coming for you. All right. I want to try the Season of the Witch. And it's a cool looking pedal too.
Yep. You really should.
It looks like a cool band flyer.
Yeah,
Actually,
or like
most
old,
of his things kind of do. Come to think of it,
like Halloween themed, or like an old
like
70s movie.
Yeah,
or
I was just gonna
something,
say
you
like
know?
a 70s camp horror movie.
Yep.
Yeah, horror. Just hey, everybody, careful. Get your heads out of the gutter. All right. Number 2.
All right, number 2 is called the Hexafoil, and it's from Red River Amplification, and it is a percolator-ish copy. And I don't usually like harmonic percolators. I probably built 5 or 6 of them, and they all sounded different, and none of them sounded particularly good. But this one's modified. I don't know what he did to it, but it's got a 3-way clipping on it. It'll do that weird kind of brash percolator thing, which I'm not too crazy about. It seems like it's too edgy and too bright. But there's some cool low gain sounds on this where it's hard to explain. It's just kind of a dense sound. It's sort of dark. It's like a evil clean sound is the best way I can describe it. And it's got a mode on it. It's got destroy mode, and that kicks it into oscillation. You can get these weird sub-octave things, and the knobs become real interactive. It's another cool one.
Nice. Are you friends with Red River?
I might be.
Well, yeah, they're gonna. The idea is I've been in talking to him as well, trying to get him on the show. So
yeah, he told me about it.
Cool. And how about number 3?
Number 3 is the console fuzz, and it's from Rose Electric Audio, and so it's Nick Rose that runs the place. And he's primarily an amp repair guy, but he builds some really cool pedals, and it's just a nice amp-like. I wouldn't call it a fuzz because it'll definitely do the lower overdrive things, but it just responds much like an amp. And it was I tried a treble booster in front of it, and that's where the thing like opens up. You know, sometimes when you hit like a fuzz pedal, particularly with a boost in front of it, it'll just kind of clamp down and square wave out. And this thing, it really came to life. You know, it was like sticking a treble booster in front of an old Marshall. It
Wow.
just kind of exploded out of the speakers.
And that's the console fuzz?
Console fuzz. Yeah, it's got a VU meter on it too.
Oh, that's cool. He's also got a Todd pedal.
Todd, yeah, the tube overdrive.
Tube overdrive distortion.
You got to get one of those.
I know. Gee whiz.
Yeah, those are pretty cool too. He's definitely a tube amp guy, and I think that was one of the first pedals he made. But
I've actually reached out to him as well. So.
Oh yeah. Nick is a good guy.
Okay, killer. And how about the last one?
Man, I went back and forth on this. I'd probably say a Crowther Hotcake because it just covers all the gain ranges below those guys. All those Crowther pedals, that guy, he's kind of like a mad scientist of pedal circuits, and they're all sort of weird and designed in a unique way, but man, they always sound really, really cool. And that was one. I've never played a real one, but I built one, and it was like the only pedal I ever made that stayed on my pedal board for like more than 3 months. And I loaned it to a friend. I said, hey man, check this out. And he ended up buying it from me. So I have to build another one. So I got one, but man, it's just a really good pedal. You know, it responds really nice, and the low gain stuff is just killer on it. Have you ever played one?
I have not.
Oh, dude, you ought to check it out.
This is very tempting. Very tempting. You've given us a handful of really cool pedals that, again, this is the best part about it. None of these 4 have been on the show.
Yeah.
Ever.
You know what we're going to need to do?
And I like that they're all like, local builders.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Yep.
Do you know what we need to do?
What?
We need to pack up all this stuff
And go
Come to Nashville.
drive to Nashville.
I know.
I mean, we can talk to.
Actually, we have a go bag. We don't even need.
Oh,
this
that's
stuff.
right. We do have the go bags.
Yeah.
Well, you've got Matt Hoops is back in town too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to do that.
We might have to, and then drag Jared along with us.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I want to go.
I'll be at the barbecue. I'll be at the barbecue place. Do it at the barbecue place.
Oh,
would be
now
amazing.
you're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could get expensive, but it would be fun.
Yeah. Well, Nashville actually needs to do its own. So we've got a thing called Pedals and Pints here.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Nashville has something, it's like it's like a micro show that just kind of tours to different breweries, like 2 times a year kind of thing.
Right.
It's pretty fun.
I've been talking to Jack about putting a event together, something that's a little bit bigger. I think he wanted to call it NAMM for Idiots. But showcasing local people and regional people. We've done some pop-ups with like 4 or 5 builders, but something a little bit more expansive, to get more people out and just kind of building the community. So hopefully we'll have something like that happening in the future.
That'd be really cool. Do you think, I haven't been to the new Carters yet, but do they have space that they could like host something like that?
I don't know. I haven't been there either. But from the photos I've seen, I think it would be pretty big. There's a ton of places. There's Runway Audio that's in town. And I was talking to them at one point. They said they had a decent sized space to host something like that. It's just a matter of logistics and putting the work in, and those things take time to put together.
Yeah.
And so it's an investment, but
get a local brewery involved. You're gold,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
I will write that down.
All right. Well, super fun stuff. And we're going to get on with the rest of the show. So we've got some Monkey Riot pedals here. Now, there's only 2 of the ones that you have.
Right.
And just really quickly, you want to fire off the names of the other ones real quick?
Yep. So the other 2 I have are the big one, which is 125B. It's a JFET distortion drive fuzz pedal. And the other one is a Rippletron. And it's a modulation pedal that has, it's sort of phasing, tremolo, a little bit of vibrato going on, just another weird sounding pedal.
Yeah. I think you kind of do go for the noise on these things. You're a fan of the noise.
I am. I mean, I'm a fan of like unconventional things, so that it does something, I don't want to say unique, but different from the other pedals that are floating around out there.
Well, you definitely do that. These ones definitely did that, which was cool. It's like, oh, okay, I'm going to sit here and, I got a lot of knobs on each one of these things.
Yeah.
So let's, before we get into the deep, dark depths of exactly, what are the features and what does this pedal do and everything.
Why Monkey Riot?
Yeah.
Man, I don't really know where that came from. I was doing all these live videos a few years ago, and I was releasing some music as well. And I was trying to find, the name of to give like this whole umbrella of things I was doing. And I was just taking these walks every morning, for like half an hour, 45 minutes, and just kind of clearing my mind. And I don't know when it happened, but Monkey Riot just popped into my head.
Nice.
And, I kind of bounced it off some people, and they were like, man, that's really dumb.
That's fantastic.
There were a few other people who were like, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's different enough. It draws attention, and
I think it suits the sounds that you're doing too. I mean, if you think about it, if you're ever like, hey, that's really cool. The monkeys are, oh my God, they're going insane. Oh my gosh,
Right.
This looks terrifying. And they're screeching and they're all flying around all over the place.
They're done typing on the typewriters.
Yeah.
right.
I've got a better answer though.
Okay.
You can say, as I was awakening from a long fever dream, I came up with Monkey Riot.
That's it.
What I should do is make up a good story about being in the jungle, when I was traveling across South America.
Oh, yeah, when you were in NAB.
On safari.
Yeah. Yes. And I awakened to 40 monkeys throwing things at me.
They're feces.
Right. Hey, you said it. I didn't.
Yes.
But the origin story just isn't that interesting. So.
Well, we can make something up for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're good at making up things.
Yeah.
It seems like that.
It's you sometimes you just run into a brand and you're like, this all makes sense. But I'm already happy about it because it does make sense.
Yeah.
And I don't have to try to figure out like, okay, what is the thing or whatever.
Well, what I really like though are
Yes.
I think the graphics that are on these are really cool.
Super cool.
I mean, they're just
It's very late 60s, early 70s sci-fi psychedelic fantasy.
Yeah, I mean that was the exact vibe I went for. I'm not like a visually artsy person, and if you look at my previous two pedals, they're nothing like that at all. And I realized I had to, find some kind of aesthetic for the brand, some kind of look that was that I liked, but that would also draw people in. And I was messing around with the Firefly AI and just plugging, just doing 60s, 70s hippie, psychedelic, black and white, and seeing what had come out, and then just refining them, and going through it, and kind of ended up with something that I would, squeeze into Illustrator to do the artwork. And but I think the backseat driver, I probably sat there for like 3 or 4 nights in a row, just doing all these different iterations, and finding something cool. But it's a cool process. I've tried using artists before, but I'm kind of a control freak, and it's also that thing of like waiting on people to finish things. I'm not as patient as I could be sometimes, and I just I can get it done, and then it's finished and can move on. And I've been really happy with the last two. I think they turned out really cool.
They truly did.
And the big thing too, Hagtronics is the guy that silk screens all of those for me, and he has it down to an art. I mean, he really knows what he's doing, and I kind of bounced ideas off him to make sure that they would silk screen properly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one thing to say, hey, can you silk screen this? It almost feels like actual like writing ink. It's not like, I mean, there's an art to that. You really do have to understand how to do that properly without it feeling like, oh, this has been silk screened. This doesn't feel like it's been silk screened. It feels like it's
almost like it's
down
etched.
Not like India ink. I mean, it's
right.
You know what I mean? And because when I got it out, I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, he's a magician, and doing it on those polished aluminum enclosures too.
Right.
It makes it like really, really hard to get that stuff to adhere, and not smear and all those kinds of things. But,
well done.
He kills it.
Well done. And just I think when you're saying the 60s and 70s psychedelic stuff, these aren't like campy hippie looking stuff. It's the kind of stuff like if you saw a big black van with like space and mountain graphics on the side, and there was like just some ominous voice that says, "Get in." That's what this looks like.
That's a great description. I love it.
Yeah. Anyways,
that's cool.
Let's talk about these.
Yeah,
here.
let's start with the Tempest Fuzz. This one is a crazy pedal.
It is.
It is definitely out there. I hesitated to call it a fuzz because it's actually a delay chip.
Yeah.
That's the main thing in there. It's that same chip. It's a PT2399 that gets used in kind of a lot of the current delays. But it came from a design on the Stompbox forums that somebody had posted probably about 12 years ago now, and it kind of periodically has this resurgence, and it was called the Noise Ensemble. and it was cool, but there were so many things about it that weren't cool, like it different guitars would sound way different with it. Kind of the tonality of it was weird, and it didn't have a whole lot of function. And I started working on it about 3 years ago, and worked on it and couldn't get it to where I wanted. And I just got frustrated and I put it away. And then I would pull it out a year later and try and figure out those things and couldn't figure them out. And then this past June, I hate breadboarding stuff. I absolutely despise it, but I actually got out of breadboard and worked out the last couple, hang-ups on it. And man, I always loved the circuit because it was just so bizarre and weird, and there's not that much out there like it. There's a few other guys that are making pedals that are kind of based upon that same original noise ensemble, but everybody's taken it in a different direction.
Yeah.
And it's fun, it'll do a lot of weird things, and it'll also run away from you and start making noise on its own.
Yeah.
But it was, that's one I've always wanted to get to the point where I could put it out, and I did. So I'm thrilled with it.
This is chock full of...
I mean, it's almost a musical instrument in and of itself.
It is. I mean, you've got volume... balance, saturation. I'm going to run through them, and then we'll talk about a couple of these.
Yeah.
Volume, balance, saturation, mod, recycle, time, shape, halftime, loop back, and activate. So, and to look, we're hooping and hollering about like the graphics, all these cool knobs. Then you put in a couple of things that is like, we really are reduced to being sort of monkeys when we pick up a box and go, when I look at that, I'm like, there's a micro switch. And then I just do this for like 10 minutes. And then I'm like, oh, wait, there's a little pogo push button too. It's capped, Yeah.
Well, the knobs, like, especially balance, saturation, shape, and recycle. Originally, they were kind of more common functions. Like the balance knob I was calling it the mix knob, but it's not really a mix knob. It kind of does that. And I didn't want to give it these names where people would go, okay, that's the mix knob. It's going to go between wet and dry, because it doesn't really do that. So I sort of tried to name them things that were kind of what it did, but it left some leeway open to the interpretation of it. It's same thing with the saturation. It kind of does the gain, but it also changes the filtering on the distortion. As you decrease it, it's more of a high pass filter.
Right.
Recycle is kind of like a feedback. The time is actually the time. That's one that's accurate, as well as the volume. And shape, I mean, I don't really know what it does. It just kind of alters the sort of the tone on the feedback that makes it behave in a different way. Kind of bassier or more trebly, but
you have the timbre of the fuzz. Timbre.
That's my favorite band.
Yes, there you go.
Timbre of the fuzz.
Yes.
But they're all really interactive too, which is
absolutely.
something that was fun.
Which the interactive part is where things really start to, yes, they can run away with you, but it can let you do things that you probably hadn't even considered, because all those variables, you change one thing, now you got a whole other thing. If you change one other thing, that's a whole other thing.
It was that thing where, like, after I'd finished building that for 2 weeks, I would sit down and play it and find some new sound that I hadn't found before, just because it's like the permutations are endless.
Yes.
Have you ever considered making this one that can mount in a guitar?
What?
Wouldn't it? I think it would be cool to have.
You mean like a Gibson recorder or something?
No, but just like a hollow body, and you could drop one of these in and have all the controls right there at your fingertips.
I mean, it was like the Fuzz Factory with Muse, right? Didn't he have a Fuzz Factory mounted in his guitar?
Yeah.
No, I haven't considered that, but you could probably make a pick guard that would fit it, right?
Oh, I can do anything. I know a guy if I can't.
That would be bananas.
But I just think, I mean, like for instance, the half speed, which is a momentary, and then the loop back, which is also a momentary switch.
Yeah.
And, you would have all your controls, but then you could, with your hand, as you're
I
playing
mean, that's
a
a
note.
great idea. Yeah.
I mean, because it's not a huge circuit, right?
No, it's not that big. Yeah, and a lot of those, it's one of those pedals that lends itself to being manipulated while you play. Mm-hmm. And something like that does make sense. It's not terribly big.
No,
Seems like this would make a really great stereo pedal.
It would. It would be like, well, I don't want to say almost impossible to like make it behave the same on left and right.
Yeah.
I mean,
but that's kind of that's why I think it would actually be really cool.
Yeah, that is a good idea. One thing I was thinking about was doing a bigger box version, and having that halftime on a foot switch, and putting some expression pedal inputs on it for some of the parameters.
There you go.
This is actually what I'm talking to some guys about doing a Euro rack version of, and trying to get some of those controls with control voltage.
Oh yeah, that would be very cool.
Yeah.
I think it just does so many different things. Like I said, it's almost like a musical instrument in and of itself.
Yeah. When I was playing with this, I think when I told Tony, because I say, Tony, got a pedal. He said, what does it do? And I said, that's hard to explain, but if I gave this to one or two of my favorite EDM DJs, I think that they would lose their minds.
Yep. I've got there's a kind of a Eurorack guy around town that I've built a few things for, and he comes and buys pedals from me, and he tried this out, and like 15 minutes later, he's like, I have to buy this. I'm leaving with this.
Yeah.
And, it's like, especially in that world, there's kind of a lack of creative effects. Everything is really utilitarian, and
everybody's using a lot of the same gear, just how they use it. Yeah.
Correct. Yep. Exactly. And it's, it's one of those, it's hard to do demos on it, just because it can do so many things, and I'm just not good at doing demos. So hopefully we'll get more at some point. But
cool. Well, let's see here. You've got, and by the way, there is a YouTube playlist of prototype demos. So in case you all are wondering, like, well, what does this actually do and sound like? You can go to YouTube and find that.
Yep.
And there's a decent amount kind of interspersed in my Instagram feed too. Pretty much everything that's in YouTube. But in YouTube, it's in one place, so you can just run through them and get an idea what it does.
There you go. Let's talk about you a little bit, and then we'll get on to the next celebrity on our pedal lineup here.
Alrighty.
So tell us about what kind of gear are you using at home, like on the regular?
I don't play that much anymore. I'm an engineer by trade, and I'll go through phases where I'll record a lot of music. But I mean, at home, I'm primarily working in Pro Tools. I may do some stuff in the box. I've been using a Torpedo Cab M Plus a ton lately for recording little demos. But I'm not that cool as far as a guitar gear guy. Most of the stuff will end up being in the box. And I'm kind of boring in that respect.
Okay. What's the amp you're playing through?
I have an Ampeg GBT 112. So it's kind of a weird little newer Ampeg. It's two 6v6s. The cool thing about it, it's got a Baxandall EQ on it. What were we going to say, Tony?
Is that like the Gemini or
no? It's not.
And it's not a flip top, right?
No. It's like a newer model. Let me see if I can find it. So it's Ampeg GVT 35, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. Or let me see.
Let's see. We'll pull that one up too.
Let me look. I'm sorry. I'd have to go look at it to tell you, actually.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it.
It's a newer one. It's cool. It's got a Baxandall EQ. It's got a high and low power switch, which is nice. I'll use that to check pedals sometimes, but most of the time I'm just using the torpedo, because it gives me the ability to see what different cabs sound like, and kind of run through some different options as opposed to listening to everything on one amplifier.
Got it. So how you're an engineer by trade, you said. So engineer is a very broad term of what do you do?
He drives a train.
I'm not the drafting kind. I'm an audio engineer, and I do production. So I started in 1995. I got a job at a studio, and I've been doing it ever since then.
Awesome.
It was early on. It was at a big studio, did a bunch of label projects, and I ended up going out on my own and ended up at a smaller studio where I've been for 24 years now.
Well, that's really cool, man.
Yeah.
So you mostly do like band stuff, or is it like commercial work, or?
No, it's all music band type production. We studio I work at, we were a big part of the Nashville demo music scene from like 1990 up until about 2010 when the industry changed.
Yeah.
And country music is weird because what'll happen, the songwriters would write the songs, they would record them and try and get them sounding as good as possible, and then would take those to the country music artists, and artists would go through this Rolodex of songs and pick the ones they wanted to cut. And so we were on that kind of front edge of it, where we would have songwriters coming in and we would have a 3-hour session and have to record 5 songs. And we would do that 3 times a day. And I was primarily a mix guy in that era. And they would roll in at 10 in the morning. I'd have to mix 5 songs by 6 or 7. And I just did that over and over and over for like, it was cooking for about 2 years. And I mean, it was exhausting, but I just learned so much about how to mix in that time because I was doing it so much. It all kind of crashed around 2010, 2011. The publishing side of the industry just, there wasn't as much money going into it, and a lot of the publishing companies closed, and songwriters got laid off, and so we kind of adjusted in that era, and we'll do, people will come in from out of town and want to record an album in Nashville. We'll do some of that. Most of the stuff today I do is I'll record bands. I have a lot of mail order mastering work and a lot of mail order mixing work. And I fit in pedal building between all that.
Nice.
Not too shabby. Right on. What's the name of the studio?
Studio I have a room at is County Q Productions.
County Q,
the letter Q. And it's in Berry Hill, which is sort of the alternate Music Row now, since Music Row is pretty much gone.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, if you're down there and you're going to record, then definitely get a hold of this fella and,
Yes, hit me up. I'll cut you a good deal. We've got a great room, and it'll sound good.
There you go.
That's what you want.
That's what's on the T-shirt. Yeah.
Hey, it'll sound good.
Yeah, Country Q. It'll sound good.
Bumper sticker too.
I love it. Okay, well, let's dig into this next little pedal here. Well, actually, wait. Before you do that, hang on. I'm skipping a big thing here.
What are you?
You're a music engineer, which is fine, and that's you know all the sounds and what everything does, and but that's knowing the sounds and all that stuff. To a pedal, especially like complex pedals like you're making, that's kind of a jump. How did you go from I like sounds to I'm going to make sounds?
Hey, I've always been really interested in the tech side of things, and just a certain part of audio engineering is manipulating the sounds. We're just doing it with EQs or these days with plugins, and it wasn't that much of a jump to think about doing it with pedals. And that knowledge of mixing stuff for that long. I mean, I feel like I know what I like, and I feel like, a lot of times that's an objectively good sound. So it helps me going through, tuning circuits and those kinds of things to make it sound right. And I don't know, did that answer your question?
Well, I think if you have the ear for production, then
Right.
you can also kind of have the ear for figuring out what sounds good in a pedal too.
Sure.
Yeah. It's the same ear. It's just we're going about it a little bit differently.
Yeah,
I didn't feel like it was that much of a stretch.
Well, there's
changing it up.
all the the soldering and bits
Yeah.
and bobs and stuff, and that's where most of the people usually get stuck at the door.
Man, when I got hired at that studio, like in 1994, I was actually an intern there, and they were rebuilding one of the rooms in the studio. And my first month down there, they locked me down in the basement with another intern, and I soldered every single harness in the entire room. And I would go home with like burns on my fingers, but I learned how to solder.
blisters on my fingers.
And your lungs were filled with rosin.
Yeah, that whole thing, man. They were just abusing us, but I learned a valuable skill out of it.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
That's cool. All right, you've answered all the questions succinctly and as completely
You may move to the next
to the best
level
of your knowledge.
So, the other pedal that you were so kind to send us was this back seat driver, which
Yes.
I really liked. And this is kind of, as we were talking earlier, is kind of a dirty compression pedal.
Yep.
You got drive, you got compression. It's got a big sustain knob in the middle.
Yep.
And I mean, I purposely just sat waiting to see when the signal would die down.
It just goes.
It doesn't. It does not stop.
Yep. Well, it was, early on, I was building tons and tons of strip board circuits, and I would just find one and build it. And if it sounded good, I'd put it in a box. And if it didn't sound good, I'd just kind of throw it in the bin. And I came across this circuit called the Big Jam Space Driver. And it was from a Multivox division, I think, Multivox Big Jam, that was a pedal manufacturer in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
And they had these really weird little plastic pedals, and instead of knobs or anything, they had like these tiny little faders that were maybe like 1.5 inches long. And I built that one, and it sounded really, really cool. And I kind of fell in love with it, and I built a couple for friends. And then I started comparing it to other pedals, and there was like, okay, there's some things in this that don't really measure up. So I kind of went through the process. That's one I've been building for about 2 years of just slowly tweaking things. And at its heart, it's just a Dynacomp into an electric distortion.
Mm-hmm.
It's tuned a little bit different than a Dynacomp. There's a jangle switch on it, and that's that common mod on the Dynacomp, the jangle box mod.
Mm-hmm.
So I added that on there to make it a little more functional. The original was not very loud at all, so I upped the output level on the end. What else did I do? Oh yeah, the voicing switch. So it's basically just clipping diodes, and I kind of treat that down position as the vintage voice, where it's a little bit a little bit fuzzier, or a little bit more of the peaks shaved off, and then the up position is silicon clipping in there, which is a little bit more open, a little bit more modern. And on most of my pedals, I've got tweakers on the inside too. I don't know if y'all got into that one.
Yeah, I actually just pulled the back off right now.
Yeah. So there's a trimmer for the release time on the Dynacomp, and I kind of set them. It's a little bit faster than the stock Dynacomp because I like that slightly quicker release, but you can really get it to be super spanky, really quick release. And then there's one trimmer in there you shouldn't touch, which is right next to the big IC. But if you're looking at the back, the lower right trimmer kind of sets the gain window on that electro distortion.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually crank that to where it's the emitter is pretty much connected to ground, and you can get like a fuzz type effect.
So don't mess with that.
No,
No.
you can mess with that one. There's one, I'd have to look at it, but it biases that big IC in there, the LM13700.
Mm-hmm.
It's just to the left of it.
Yep.
I've actually on the website there's little instructions with photos if you want to mess with it. But the release time is cool. If you're looking, the thing with that one is I usually like gain and distortion, and so I usually set that the kind of gain window trimmer to where it's a little bit more raunchy than a lot of people like, and you can dial that back if you're looking for a cleaner sound. So it just kind of gives you that option on it.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
and I think, if I'm not mistaken,
speaking to the microphone, Todd.
Well, I was looking for something. I could have sworn.
I always have to remind him.
No, you did. You do actually include the backseat driver internal adjustments printout. So
yeah, with a little photo in there, right?
That's very handy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys that I like a lot of tweakers when I get stuff.
Yeah.
But, not a lot of people are inclined to that, so I put them inside. I don't feel like they're usable enough to actually eat up space on the front panel with a knob.
Yeah, I get that. So what is your favorite aspect about this pedal?
That's a good question. I like kind of the aggressive nature of it with the compressor on it. It's just it can make like this real compact sound that's real in your face. A lot of times I think about things from a recording perspective, and it gives a guitar tone where I would end up if I had compressed something going to tape. Something that'll just sit there in a track, reside in its space, and not jump outside it. The other thing I like about it is just the flexibility, with the voice switch and the jangle switch. There's no tone knob on there, but going between those guys, you can get the switches actually do something. You can get a pretty good change in the sound just by flipping the switch.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think up in the jangle position, it definitely opens up the top there, the brighter end.
I think initially I was sometimes with humbuckers, it'll get you more towards that single coil sound with that jangle switch, which is a nice thing to have if you got a humbucker guitar.
There you go. All right, and we're not talking at length about you have the big one, the Rippleton, and the Chunk, which is coming soon.
Yeah, coming soon. Big one, Rippletron. The Chunk, I think it'll be the next one. But I kind of change things up sometimes.
All right.
So maybe something else. I don't know.
So while we have you, do you want to give us the reason that we got to have the big one?
Yeah, man. It's it was another one of those I had built tons of strip board versions on. It was probably like the most popular pedal that I built. I'd build one, show it to somebody, it'd sell. I'd build another one. It's just a classic JFET drive. It's really, really similar to the Small Sound, Big Sound Mini.
Yes.
Which is a great sounding pedal. But, Brian had published his schematics on some of the forums and everybody started making them. But I didn't ever think his bias control as it was in the schematic, I couldn't ever get it to sound right to me. So I changed it up. It does a different thing. It's got a great range. It'll go from kind of misbiased fuzz if you crank the sag control in the middle up all the way, which starves one of the JFETs in the middle, but you can crank it down and get, light breakup, cleanish tones. And it's always cool having a pedal that's got a bass and a treble control.
Yeah.
You got that control over the kind of the EQ on it. And it's just a fun amp-like drive pedal, nothing crazy special about it, but if you're into that SSBS mini sound, it's definitely got that going on.
Well, that's something that we were a fan of to the point where when we had Small Sound, Big Sound on, we did the
I remember that. Yep.
And there's only a couple of them out there in the wild. So if you find a Small Sound, Big Sound with Levi Lovin on it.
That's right.
Yeah, it's all black with a gold zipper down the front. Look that up if you don't know what it is. And I love that pedal.
It's really great.
Yeah.
It made such a splash. And, there's a lot of people kind of making clones of it now, which is cool because it makes it more accessible.
Yeah.
Because
they went crazy in price, man.
Yep, totally. And I mean, it's a cool pedal. There's nothing too crazy or different about it,
This does the thing. And it's one of those things where you plug in and you say, I can play it with this amp, but I can't play it with that amp, or this guitar, but not that guitar.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything out there has a singular voice of some sort. And that's why this whole thing is so awesome.
Yep.
Because we want it all. All right, man. Well, this has been really cool digging into your products and your brands and finding out what is making you tick. You mentioned you've got the chunk on the way, but I suspect you probably have more ideas out there. You want to get anything you can share?
Man, I got a ton of stuff. I probably got 4 or 5, PCBs designed that are sitting there. The artwork becomes a holdup for me, but it's getting easier. Before I released the Tempest, I had originally planned on releasing a pedal called the Lonesome Dove, and it was delay, reverb, and vibrato all in one box. And everything all at once. And I've got that design finished. I just happened to get the breadboarding on the Tempest working, and I like that better, so I went ahead and put it out.
Could you add a tremolo to that one just to round everything out?
We could try and stick it on there, get it really wiggling on you. But it's just kind of an ambient, weird pedal, real spacey. I do the like the loopback pedal on the Tempest. That's one of those oscillation buttons where you hold it down and it does infinite repeats. I've got that on the Lonesome Dove too.
Oh, cool.
So it's fun, but on stuff like that too, some of the things like production cost factor in, and
sure,
yeah,
that uses a belt and brick, which by itself is like a $16 part. And
relatively, if I correct, I may have misheard this, but those are getting very difficult to obtain. Is that correct?
I hope not. I haven't checked lately. They went in cycles. There was definitely a period kind of in the big chips shortage at the end of COVID where they were almost impossible to find.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna look real quick and see because I need to order some if they're getting scarce.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
It looks like I use Stompbox. Oh, the mediums are out of stock. They've got 330 of the long ones. So that's definitely less than they had a few months ago.
Yeah.
So thank you for the heads up.
You bet. That's what we're here for. Once in a while, it lands.
They're just going to make me spend more money.
Right.
Why not? Just do it.
Yeah.
It's just money. Come on, man.
Well, speaking of just money.
Yes.
You got a Mr. Moneybags over here. Mr. Money Man's got a would you rather.
Oh, no.
Is that what I've got?
You better.
Well, Todd, at this point of the show is a little game that we play called Would You Rather?
Okay.
What was wrong with that
Nothing,
one? It was smooth.
It's like a pair of flannel pajamas where you're like, that sounds like a good idea. And then you're walking around and all the flannel's balled up on the inside and you're like, that's what
that
it's like.
doesn't happen to me.
No?
Is it just you?
It might be.
I think it's just Todd.
Okay.
I got to stop shaving my legs. That's what the problem. Anyways, go ahead.
Well, this week's Would You Rather is kind of an interesting thing.
I did have to do that for wrestling, by the way. Shaving my legs in high school. I'm just saying.
It's all right.
No judgment.
Yeah, whatever it takes, Todd.
Okay, go ahead.
Are you still shaving your legs?
No.
I did it for swimming, so.
There you go. Okay, see, he knows.
No, there you go.
Right,
I just keep mine braided.
Yeah.
So over the past couple of weeks, there's been a little teaser popping out there about a remake of Stanley Kubrick's classic A Clockwork
I
Orange.
lost my mind when I saw this.
And supposedly it was going to be directed by Guy Ritchie.
Oh,
And starring Tom Holland, who is teenage Spider-Man.
Yes.
Tom Parker? Billy Bob Parker?
One of those guys, yeah.
Joe Parker?
He's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Anyhow.
I don't know if he's got the stuff to be Alex, though.
Well, I don't know. I think he's got the stuff that shoots out of his wrists.
Yeah, that's not the thing.
No, that's not the thing. Well, anyhow. Oh, you mean Alex?
Yes.
With the bowler cap.
Yeah, the main character of Clockwork Orange. Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Tom Holland is only 5 feet 7 inches tall.
Yes.
I don't know if that'll work.
He's got He's gonna have to wear lifts. Go ahead, Tony.
Well, I've done a little deeper dive and find out that this is indeed false.
It's a hoax. And I'm so not happy about it. Even though it's almost sacrilege to try to redo that movie.
Oh my God. I don't know how you would do it.
Yeah.
But if anybody could do that, I think it'd be Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
Well, I would absolutely go see that.
Yes.
I love Clockwork Orange.
The good news about Guy Ritchie.
My first band's name was named after Clockwork Orange. Malaco Plus.
Malaco.
Yeah.
Well, the good news about Guy Ritchie, he is indeed, I don't know if anyone watched the first season of The Gentleman.
Yes.
There's a season 2 coming out.
Brilliant.
And that's going to be great.
Yes.
Well, we're going to pretend.
We pretend that our dreams weren't smashed.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And as it turns out,
Yes.
Guy Ritchie likes to have.
He likes rock and roll.
He loves rock and roll.
He loves the weird stuff too.
And in this case, with a futuristic movie, which strangely enough isn't really that futuristic
and
now.
Twisted and violent.
Yes. So it would be kind of industrial.
Nightmarish.
Kind of weird.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Post-nuclear.
And the part about this Would You Rather is you are being recruited as the guitar player.
Yes.
And there will be 3 choices.
Why us?
Why us? Because we're the aficionados of guitar playing.
Well, we're the
maestros.
The regular guys.
Yes. And that's
he doesn't, from what I heard,
yes.
he doesn't want the session guys.
No, he doesn't want the session guy.
He wants somebody to come in and just make noise. And racket and mess up and do all the things.
Yeah.
He wants the everyman, right?
That's right. He wants to make everyone a star. Well, the good news is the 3 choices of the people who will be directing the music, and this is where the Would You Rather comes in.
Yes.
Are Trent Reznor, Todd Rundgren, and Danny Elfman.
Oh.
Now,
easy.
No, just hold your horses. Don't make up your minds just yet. The other thing that you might not realize is Guy Ritchie is a huge fan of Monkey Riot Pedals.
Oh, okay.
And he's insisting that you use the Tempest fuzz and the backseat driver as part
to help
of this.
sell. That makes sense.
Yeah,
I can see and hear this.
Okay, you can see that. Now, Todd, you're going to be a little upset because Guy is also a Strat fan.
Guy. Okay,
and he wants you to play a 1979 Fender 25th anniversary Strat. You know, the silver one that weighs about between 9 and 10 pounds.
Yeah, okay.
Nice stuff.
Yeah.
And he wants you to play that through a 1977 Fender Twin Reverb with the silver face.
Oh, wow. That just made me throw up in my mouth a little bit. All right, seriously, you saw I had an actual visceral reaction.
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
He did throw up a little. He swallowed it back down, thankfully. But, you know, the other part of the good news is with all these little knobbly switches and things on these pedals, you can probably tame that twin down a little bit.
Oh, I don't know.
It's like sitting like a pack of Sour Patch Kids in the back of on the back of my tongue right now. It like the electricity in that region is bad right now.
Okay, so your choices, the Would You Rather,
but it seems fitting for this kind of movie.
I think you could do it.
Yeah.
the question is, would you rather work under the guidance of Trent Reznor, Todd Rundgren, or Danny Elfman?
Man, that's actually really hard. Whew. Okay, Tony, you go first. Go. Well, then we'll check with Mike.
Well, I mean, depending, I think if he really wanted a noisy edge, I mean, Trent Reznor would be the one to do. But all three of these guys are just like.
If you think back to the original Clockwork Orange,
yeah,
the whole thing was that everything wasn't over the top. Everything was just twisted enough the whole time.
Yes. I think I've heard bad things about Todd too. He's kind of a tyrant to work under. I'm going to go with
But he's asking you.
I know, but I'm going with Danny Elfman.
All right.
Danny
Elfman's a flipping genius.
I think, between Danny and Mark Mothersbaugh, they've done from Devo, they've done probably 3/4 of the movie soundtracks in the last 20 or 30 years.
For sure.
But I think,
just watched the master class with Danny Elfman.
Oh,
that
that's
was
right.
Fascinating. It was so good.
I'm going with Danny Elfman, and I'm so pumped to use my Monkey Riot pedals and heavy Strat and Fender Twin Silverface.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, Mike, how about you? Hello? What happened?
Sorry. My cat walked on the computer and muted it.
Damn you, cat!
I caught him before he hit leave.
He's had enough of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where he is. Hopefully he won't come back. I was originally thinking Reznor because I like what he does, and I feel like it'd be fitting for Clockwork Orange, but Todd made the point of everything being understated in there. But I don't know if Danny Elfman would get the noisy aspects of some of the pedals. So I'm going to go with Trent Reznor.
Cool. Todd?
Well, this is very interesting because, we're doing thinking here. Now, Reznor obviously is going to be able to, like, really make things scream. That's going to be his comfort zone. I feel like it would almost be like if Johnny Greenwood, because Johnny Greenwood did There Will Be Blood. Like, he did that whole thing. So that doesn't sound anything like Radiohead.
No.
In fact, it's incredibly... I can only imagine the patience that it took to make something that big and slow and ominous. But
Johnny Greenwood's not one of your choices.
No, he's not. I know that. And then I thought, okay, Danny Elfman. I mean, growing up in Southern California, you grew up on Oingo Boingo, so like I know. Just from actual band music, what he's capable of doing, and the music, the scoring and everything. But there's a signature to his thing. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this can't have this couldn't have that kind of a signature. I am actually going to go with Todd Rundgren.
Whoa!
Oh, it would be great because when somebody's yelling out Todd, both of you would look up and say, "Huh?"
Yes. Or shut up. I think that would be interesting because forcing things to get twisted. Mm-hmm. Think about like he and Brian Eno, they were out on the edge on stuff. So I think that you could get there.
Yeah.
And the musical catalog that he's got to have through the ages and being able to push and pull on like when do you take something to the edge and just let it sit there until you get nervous and then
it
simmers
happens for a while.
Yeah, I like that idea. That's what I'm doing.
Well, isn't that great? We have 3 different choices now. Guy,
well, you know what? Todd made a good point. I want to change mine.
Are you sure? Todd
Yes.
Rundgren's your final answer.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
So 2 for Todd.
I actually, oddly enough, downtown here, I was sitting at a stoplight, And I think I might have shared this before, but I was sitting at a stoplight and I was just like, hey, I wonder who's playing at the theater tonight. And I was trying to look up underneath the marquee. And as I did, I see this gentleman passing right by my car. It was Todd Rundgren, and he was playing at the show that I was trying to look at. He had just gone out for a walk or whatever.
He didn't hand you tickets
or anything?
anything?
Very hard to miss character.
Yes.
And I couldn't get the window down fast enough to be like, Todd Rundgren! I couldn't do it. I was trying, and it was like, and he had passed.
Man, the guy we always see around town here is Robin Hitchcock.
Oh, wow.
Him at shows. Yeah, I mean, you'll at the basement, which is a small venue, you'll turn around and he'll be standing there watching the band.
I always feel like he should have been in XTC.
I mean,
could have fit in that.
He could have. Yeah, possibly.
Anyways,
so.
wow, we have strayed.
Yes.
But,
yes.
Okay, so we got 2 for Todd Rundgren and 1 for.
I'm still sticking with Danny.
Okay, I like that.
So, Guy, if you're listening,
Make it happen.
make this remake. I'm available. Todd's available. Mike's available.
I will do it for free.
I'll give you the pedals.
Don't say that.
Okay.
And we'll be there. And you know what, Guy? You pick who you want to do the musical direction.
We're good with whatever.
We'll work with any of those 3.
Yes.
So bring it on.
Indeed. Well, thank you. And speaking of thank yous, we need to thank a few people right now.
That's right, Todd. At this point of the show is a special group of people that we love to thank. These are our executive producers. Now, an executive producer makes this show possible. How do you become one? Easy peasy. Head over to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs. Check out a couple different levels in which you can participate, become a sponsor, a patron, a hero of the podcast. Each level comes with some very, very nice thank you gifts and opportunities to win nice stuff.
Indeed.
But in addition to all that great stuff, there's one thing more. What is that?
You get to have your name read on the thing.
Their name read on the thing. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So special thanks to these executive producers: John Sebastian, Trevor Ellenberg, Cameron Pampas, James Bell, Eric Emmer, Brett Hogarth, Gregory Randall, Don Kloss, Ralph Gottschalk from Wonderful Audio Technology. What? Rusty Sneeden, Vader and Pedals, John Halverson, Rick Calhoun, Trevor Gunberg, Elad Mizrahi, Richard Kendall, James White, Justin Jones, John Esterly from Rare Buzz Effects, Anthony Lathrop, Stefan Lamb, Michael Senchuk, Ken Sayers, Darren Gregory, Tom Barazin, Michael Davenport, Eric Marrow, and Plutone.
Excellent.
But wait, there's more, Todd, because there's a special group of executive producers. We like to call them our Granda Poobahs. These are the creme de la creme, the top of the heap, the A number ones, and they wear a fez whilst listening to the podcast. Or so I'm told.
Indeed.
So special thanks to these Grand Poobahs: Anthony Gemolero, Billy Spitfire Unlimited, Bob Crouch, Brian Robison, Cody Foster, David Kaminga, David Tyndall, Enrico Fernando, Fox Hill Studio, Hex Matos, Jack Cadian, James Pennington, John Williams, Jonathan Jerusik from 12th Hour Devices, TikTok, LSJ Music Company, Matt Hart, Michael Van Zant, Michio Murakishi, Moon Guitars, Paul Von Eppinger, Sam Jett, Steve Keys, Tyler K.C. Rhines, Zach Oswald from Brandon Wound Pickups, and Pedro Vasquez. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Seriously, we can't do this without you guys.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, and we need more.
All right.
There's always room for more.
There's always room for more. Let's see, Mike. Where can people find the things that you do and go get those things?
You can find me at monkeyriotpedals.com, or you can find me on Instagram at Monkey Riot Pedals. Instagram is great. You can DM me through there. I am very responsive.
Yes.
Nice.
And Tony?
head over to pickguardian.com. Check out the stuff that I do, which is custom pickguards, believe it or not. Shoot me an email. Let me know what you're trying to do, what you need, materials, all the good stuff. I'll make it for you. How's that sound?
Yes, make them.
There's a 99.9% chance that I can make it for you. And it is your opportunity to make your guitar even more yours.
Even more yours.
Copyright. Todd.
Yes. All right. You can shoot me a DM on Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Would love to hear from you. Send us your would you rathers. Tell us just, hey, say, hey, we like the show. Or, hey, could you not yell or whatever? I don't know. Throw rocks at me, whatever.
Yeah.
We love the back and forth with you guys. And
Yes.
also, I will say, for our Patreon listeners, for the paid Patreon listeners, okay, there's a newer feature on Patreon where we've opened up a couple of chat categories. So that's with me, as well as there's with one was just like, hey, all you guys who are all patrons, you guys can talk amongst yourselves. How about that?
I like that.
So pay attention to that, because I actually just put out a question about our recent 4 on the Floor episode, and I've got one up there called Suggestion Box. We want to hear from you. Doggone it, you're sitting there, you're listening to us, with us, so why not talk to us? You know what I'm saying?
Speak.
All right. We need big, giant, enormous thank you to Mike Purcell.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. This has been a lot of fun. And man, it's like such a surreal thing, because I remember listening to this. Like, I didn't start building until about 4 years ago, man, and listen to this podcast religiously every week, because it was during COVID, and I would go on these long walks in the morning because I didn't have anything else to do, and just wear it out. So it was very cool to be on here.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That means a lot. Legit. That's really cool. I'm stoked. I had no idea.
Yeah, man, it's yeah. Huh. I hesitate to say dream come true, because that sounds a little
Say it! Go on.
But,
never said that to me ever.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you. And
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it and enjoyed it.
Excellent. Well, that is the part of the goal, anyways. The other part is to milk as much juice out of your brain as possible to support our show.
You have done that.
Excellent. Well, with that, everybody, have a fantastic Guitar Weekend. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Wait, maybe I do though.
That I would.
Come on, guys.
I'd like
Get
it
it
if you
together.
did.
I know, right?
It would be really sweet if you did.
Across from me is Tony.
Hola.
Tony D for delicious.
Delicious and delightful.
Yes.
By these.
Yes.
And
Stop.
okay.
Enough. In your brain. Work it in your brain.
Brain works.
Okay. I even thought Dweezil's apple. Zappa.
That's easy for you to say.
Yeah. Okay. I have a really bad cardboard paper cut,
cut.
really deep.
Oh.
Deep, and I just clapped it, and that hurt.
I'm scared.
Do you have any questions, knowing full well what we do here?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. No questions. He's got this locked.
Yes.
Okay. I think we're good to go, man.
No, I do have a question, Todd.
There we go. This is a really terrible experience. Please stop. Whatever.
What?
That's who I was thinking of.
Oh, was that?
Yeah.
Who did that?
Yeah.
This?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I had
Are
him
you
done.
sure?
I'm pretty sure. I'm working on determining that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they're sending me a briefcase of gold.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. You're lucky.
Bada bit pop bow. Here we go.
Bada bing, bada boom. Why don't you pull those out of the
Beep-beep,
boxes?
boppity-boop.
Brains.
How's it going? And
Yeah, I keep spacing out here because I feel like I'm just listening to the podcast.
well, that's gonna stop right now.
It's like I'm living in it,
That was crap.
Oh, my God.
I'm trying not to hurt myself.
Right on.
And away we go. No, that's no good. And away we go.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.